Yo, what is good guys, your boy IzuKage here with a new what if, and this what if is what if Naruto had the world. So real quick, I want to thank you guys so much for all the support you've shown me lately. I don't think I mentioned it enough, but I love each and every one of you. From the trolls to the channel members, thank all of you. Also, you guys have really been asking for me to make the Naruto Shippuden parts of my what if longer. I'll try, but honestly I'm not the biggest fan of Shippuden, but you know, I'll do it for you guys. And with all that said, let's just get right into the what if.
Talk to me nice, look, dirty, big body Benz, I got you. Scoop on the kick, get in like a Mac. I can't fuck with these hoes, these bitches is shooting. I'm in the things, got niggas attack.
Naruto has lived basically the same life as in canon up to when he was 4, and on one snowy evening, Naruto was just taking a walk through a forest near the Forest of Death. Naruto had his scarf rapidly tied around his neck and he was about ready to go home because it was getting really cold. But then he heard the screams of a girl nearby and Naruto started walking through the bushes and huge piles of snow to see a group of 4 boys surrounding this girl with bluish black hair. The biggest of the kids said, "You're a creep, Ghost Eyes. My mommy said your clan is the reason my dad's dead," and he hit Hinata across the face. She fell over into the snow with bruises on her cheeks. And seeing this, Naruto didn't even think. He started balling up snow into his hand and threw it at the kids, and props to Naruto, he had a really good aim. He hit all of them right in the head, but the kids turned to Naruto and started walking towards him. Naruto backed up because he's scared, thinking, what did I just get myself into? Naruto turned around to run, but the snow was too high and he fell over. The largest of the kids in the group, I'd call him Biff, comment if you get the reference. He comes up and grabs Naruto by the back of the shirt and he lifted him up and throws Naruto to the side. And this is where 2 of the other kids hold Naruto up and Biff walks up to him and says, "So the demon decided to show himself. What should I do with you?" Naruto kept silent, but one of the other kids said, "Biff, if we kill him, all the villagers will praise us. You know, they're always trying to catch Naruto and they always fail, so this is our chance." And Biff smiles ominously and said, "You do have a point." He turned to Naruto and started running towards him and with his entire body put it into a punch square to Naruto's face. And Naruto closed his eyes anticipating the worst, but nothing happened. Naruto slowly opened his eyes and saw another hand holding Biff's fist, and Biff winced in pain and said, "What the hell is happening?" And the other kids around thought Biff was going crazy or something. They didn't even see anything. Meanwhile, Naruto saw a huge muscular arm twisting Biff's fist into submission, and it let go and went back into Naruto. Naruto was freaked out and Biff's friends were concerned, so they let Naruto go and went to help him up. And as they were carrying him away, he said to Naruto, "I'll get you for this," still holding his hand in pain. While Naruto just stood there in disbelief of what just happened. And Hinata, who was watching this whole scene play out, walked up to Naruto and bowed and said, "Thank you." But before he could say anything back, she ran off to the Hyuga compound. So Naruto walked home in confusion at what just happened. It seems like those bullies couldn't see it. He was confused, but as the years go on, Naruto actually never had a similar encounter like that and basically forgot about that day. It's been 4 years since then and Naruto had taken on his canon personality and antics, you know, being the knucklehead prankster people know him for. So, being 8, it's time for Naruto's first day at the academy. And that morning, Naruto had some instant ramen, you know, nothing better than that. And after he's finished up, he runs out of the house and gets to the academy in no time. And in class, Naruto walks in and he is excited. He wants to meet new people, but he walks in and everyone is just talking amongst themselves, just not acknowledging Naruto's existence. And they all go about their day and Naruto for a moment felt sad, but he quickly cheered himself up, you know, smacking his cheeks, pause, and went to sit down. So once he sat down, Naruto just waited and waited for the teacher to come into class, and soon enough Iruka does, and he walks into class and gets everyone's attention. He says, "Quiet down everyone, I'll be your sensei for your time at the academy. I'm Iruka, and I hope you all get along." After his short speech, Iruka starts doing roll call, saying Ino, and she says here, Kiba here, so on and so on. Then once he's finished, Iruka starts to plan out their day, and the classes before lunch, they'll just be doing, regular school stuff. Things like Ninja History, Ninja 101, things like that. But after lunch, they'll have a quick assessment of everyone's strengths and weaknesses, and if they have time, a quick sparring match. So Iruka gets to the lessons and they're learning about Ninja 101, and the question for you guys is, what is the full name of a ninja tool that looks similar to a giant shuriken? So just imagine a shuriken and times the size by like 4 or 5. And for bonus points, when was it first seen in the anime? The person I see answer it first gets pinned in the comments. So moving on, Iruka gets through the lesson, and it was really basic knowledge. Even Naruto found it easy to wrap his head around. But after lunch, they had the assessment test I mentioned earlier. So Naruto and the others in the class walked outside following Iruka, and they see all sorts of obstacles and things set up in the courtyard area. And Iruka started to speak. First will be a test of your speed through a common obstacles ninjas will find on almost every mission. And then 4 laps to test your endurance, then sparring right after to see how you can, fight while exhausted, since the enemy can attack you when you're most vulnerable. Seeing all of this sort of overwhelmed all of them, and a sweat ran down each of their foreheads like, isn't it a bit much? But Iruka was confident that everyone could make it through, so he continued and then started putting everyone in pairs, and the first 2 to go through was Naruto and Sasuke. All of the Sasuke fangirls were cheering him on, and then Iruka said, "Begin," and they both start running as fast as possible through the obstacles, with ledges to simulate tree branches and huge gaps. And it was immediately clear that Sasuke was beating Naruto with relative ease. He was smiling all happy, since this isn't, emo Sasuke, or at least yet. So Sasuke made it to the sparring area before Naruto, and Naruto, he's on his second lap, and he's running off nothing but sheer willpower. He's completely exhausted at this point, and he's pushing himself, and Naruto manages to make it through. And he drops on the ground as soon as he makes it, with his tongue out and everything, breathing rapidly. Iruka ran over to check on Naruto and asked if he was okay to continue, and Naruto looked and saw Sasuke laughing at him and the other students making fun of him, and Naruto gritted his teeth and said, Yeah, I can." And Naruto slowly started to get up, and he was still tired as hell, but wasn't going to look weak in front of everyone. So he got up, and Iruka said, "Well, okay, let's start. Sasuke, are you ready?" And Sasuke nods, and Naruto, "Are you ready?" Naruto nods. "Well, begin." And Sasuke ran towards Naruto, taking advantage of his weakened state, and it was like time stopped for Naruto. Naruto could hardly move his arms as Sasuke got closer and closer. Also, this isn't anything to do with, the world. This is just Naruto, his mind slowing down. So as Sasuke got closer and closer, Naruto raised both his arms in a cross across his chest to take the blow from Sasuke. And Sasuke ran in to punch Naruto, but Naruto didn't feel anything. But the bones in Sasuke's hand broke into bits. It was like he punched a cement wall. And at full force at that, Sasuke screamed in pain, agonizing pain. And Naruto was confused until he looked down and saw a pair of hands in the same position as his. And seeing this reminded Naruto of the incident so long ago. These massive arms with golden armor on them. Naruto remembered the damage these could do, and with adrenaline now coursing through his body, he pushed through fatigue and ran at Sasuke, who was still holding his limp arm. Naruto punched the air in front of him, and the arms came out and punched Sasuke in his gut, causing him to cough up blood and fall to the ground. Naruto said, "You think you're so tough? I'll beat you with ease." and Naruto got ready to slam down his fist into Naruto's head, but Iruka came in and ran in like to stop Naruto just in time too, because his hand was right above Sasuke's head. And Iruka pushed Naruto and said, "It's fine, Naruto, you win." But Iruka was speechless. He looked into Naruto's eyes, and these were the eyes of a killer. Chills ran down his spine, and he let Naruto go, scared for his life, honestly. And Naruto turned around and said, as he's walking away, "Get in my way again, and I'll take you down too." Naruto walked towards the infirmary but collapsed before reaching it, and he came back to his senses and remembered everything that just happened. You see, Naruto was just acting off his dormant instincts, his instincts to kill. And Naruto looked at his hand and said, "Was I really going to kill Sasuke?" But then a face appeared out of Naruto's hand, and this was the face of the world. It spoke to Naruto, and before I continue, some of you might be saying, "Hold up, how is a stand talking to Naruto?" Well, technically in this world it isn't a stand, but bear with me, this is the only time I'm gonna mention it. After this, it's just gonna act as a regular stand. So the stand said, "I am a demon sent from the Grim Reaper, or as you Japanese call it, a Shinigami." So flashback to the death of both of Naruto's parents after, sealing the Kyuubi. Minato, he died, but before the Reaper disappeared, Kushina with her dying breath said, "I want my son to live, please protect him." And the Grim Reaper took the sword out of his mouth and said, "Kushina Uzumaki, for your clan to be able to create a jutsu capable of summoning me is truly amazing. So I grant you this." And from the Reaper's stomach came a golden demon, and he instructed it to protect the child. And the demon nodded and floated over to Naruto before turning invisible. Then the Shinigami finally disappeared and Kushina died. So I hope you guys like that explanation. I think it works, because just like how no one can see the Reaper, during the Reaper death seal except the caster, I think that, it's really the only way to make it work within the Naruto world. Yeah, I could have just used a stand arrow or said he was born with it, but I like to make life difficult for myself. Yay! But anyways, moving on. Then the demon says, "My name is the world, and I give you full control." And the face disappeared. Naruto was truly confused to hear about, the heroic acts of his parents. He was pretty happy. The demon didn't mention their names or anything, but told him a few important things, like its name and how to call for it, whenever he needs it. So Naruto picks himself up after a bit of rest and made his way home, where he stayed for the rest of the week, missing school. And during this time, Naruto learned how to summon the world on command. But whenever he does, it's not the entire body of it, just the top half. But Naruto, he'll get there eventually. So when Naruto returned to school, people were rightfully scared of him. They didn't want to make Naruto mad because they saw how that worked out for Sasuke. He got messed up. But luckily, Naruto kept to himself, and as he grew stronger, the more power he wanted. Nothing much happened that day of school, so after that, Naruto wanted to change up the fit a bit, He went to a clothes store in the shopping district and he picked out some clothes similar to Dio, yellow pants, a short unzipped jacket with a black undershirt. And Naruto went to pay for it, but it was way more expensive than he thought, because the clerk raised the price just because it's Naruto, the quote-unquote demon. And this pissed Naruto off. He said, "You raised the price." And the clerk laughed and said, "If you can't pay for it, get out of my store." And Naruto says, "One day I'll own this damn store." And he summoned the world and punched the clerk out of the store and walked out wearing the new clothes. And Naruto laughed and said, "Once I'm a ninja, I'll rule this village." So fast forward 5 years, and during this time, Naruto's personality has taken a drastic change, which is foreseeable when he has an actual demon within him. But yeah, Naruto lacks remorse for people in a fight, but also he's gotten a lot more smarter and calculating. This even shows in his grades because they've skyrocketed to second place, only being bested by Sakura because she literally lives in her school books. So to the graduation exams. Iruka comes into class and he starts to explain how the exam is going to work, and he says it's actually going to be a pretty simple one, easier than any of the previous years. He says all you have to do is cast a clone and they'll average out your grades over the years to see who the Rookie of the Year and the Kunoichi of the Year is. So one by one, everyone goes up to the front of the class and casts some clones. Some of them are illusions, while people like Sasuke, who are more advanced, have solid clones, but he can only make one. So Naruto, when it's his turn, he goes up and he says straight up, like, I can't do clones, I legit just can't. And everyone was ready to laugh at Naruto, like, how can you not do clones? But Naruto said to Iruka, you can come outside and see my very own special jutsu. And Iruka, he decided to entertain Naruto's request since he's on the verge of pissing his pants. That's how scared he is of Naruto. So they go outside and Naruto points to Sasuke and says, in 2 seconds I'll defeat you. And Sakura and Ino burst out into laughter saying, Naruto, let's be honest, you're not beating Sasuke, especially in 2 seconds. But Sasuke, he put his hand out in front of the two of them and said, let's see what you got, Naruto, because you're not the only one who's gotten stronger. And Naruto laughed and said under his breath, big mistake. They both get ready and Iruka begins the fight, and Sasuke focused and used body flicker to get behind Naruto. But he said, you can move as fast as you want, but I have time on my side. Naruto screamed, time completely stopped and Naruto only had 2 seconds to act, so he went behind Sasuke and with a swift karate chop to his shoulder, took Sasuke down with ease. Then time resumed. Sasuke fell to the ground, unconscious actually, and the crowd was about to cheer for Sasuke because they saw how quickly he moved using the body flicker technique, but Naruto within a second got behind Sasuke and took him down. Iruka was just standing there with his mouth wide open. He didn't know what to say. And Naruto turned to him, which made Iruka tense up, and Naruto said, so I guess I'm the Rookie of the Year now. And Iruka slowly nodded his head and said, yes, you are. And Naruto returned back to the class and everyone, made a path for him, like stepped out of his way as he walked by. So soon enough, everyone returned to class and Iruka started to read off the list of the, teams he just received from Hiruzen. So Team 10, Choji, Shikamaru, and Ino. Team 8, Kiba, Shino, and Hinata. And Team 7, Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura. Sakura started boasting about, her being on a team with Sasuke, but Ino said, well, enjoy Naruto on your team, and started laughing. Sakura just realized this and sat back in her chair, praying to the gods of the shinobi world that she doesn't die. So Team 7 waits around for their Jonin sensei Kakashi, and while the other teams, their senseis reach in really no time. So let's switch perspectives to Kakashi, let's see what he's doing. He's actually in the office of Hiruzen at the current moment, and the both of them are talking about Naruto. So Kakashi appears in Hiruzen's office and bows and says, you called me, Hokage? And Hiruzen said, yes, I've been watching Naruto for quite some time now, and he was displaying some remarkable abilities, but I don't know what it is. And Kakashi questioned, what do you mean? Can't you describe what he's doing? And Hiruzen got up and started pacing around the room and he said, that's the point, I can't. So I've put you in charge of his team to not only gather information on this, but I know you've always wanted to train the fourth son, so here's your chance. Kakashi bowed and said, I won't let you down, and walked out of the office. Hiruzen sat back in his chair and looked into his crystal ball, showing Naruto waiting in class, and he wondered, what are you hiding? So Kakashi arrives after only 30 minutes, which is, pretty respectable for Kakashi, the guy that would take multiple hours to arrive, so this is early for him. So he gets into the class and he sees all, the members of his team waiting. Of course, they were, irritated for waiting that long, but at least he's here. So Kakashi says to his team, meet me upstairs to, do a little introduction. So Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura follow Kakashi as he goes to the top of the building. When they arrive on the top of the roof, Kakashi sits on one side while the others sit opposite to him. And he starts saying how he wants them to introduce themselves, state their likes, dislikes, and goals for the future. And Kakashi, he said he's going to go first. He says, well, my name is Kakashi Hatake. I don't want to disclose my likes or dislikes, and I'll rather keep my goals to myself. And the three were thinking, wow, that was really informative, thanks. But with Kakashi's bland speech out of the way, he points to Sakura to go first, and Sakura just says some regular Sakura stuff. Her name is Sakura Haruno. She likes a certain someone while twiddling her fingers and looking at looking at Sasuke. And she dislikes Ino and somebody else, someone sitting really close, like she's not even trying to be, secretive about it. She just looks dead at Naruto. And she says her goal is to be a good wife to a certain someone, still twiddling her fingers and looking at Sasuke. So yeah, Kakashi's like, okay, we have one of these. Oh my god. But he suppresses his urges to give Sakura a clean slap across the face, and he says, Sasuke, you're up next. And Sasuke does some usual emo Sasuke stuff. He says, my name is Sasuke Uchiha. I don't particularly like or dislike anything. And hearing this, Sakura, she feels a bit bad. And then he says, my goals, they're not goals because I'll make them a reality. I need to kill a certain someone and surpass someone else, while glancing at Naruto. Team 7 just can't be, secretive. They're always glancing at people, bro. But yeah, Kakashi's like, okay, so we have a little bit of a rivalry. You like to see it, because that's how people grow, really. So, onto Naruto. When it was Naruto's turn, he said, my name is Naruto Uzumaki. I like ramen and fighting and dislike those weaker than me. And someday I'll become the richest and most powerful person in the land. And Sakura burst out laughing like, you really think you'll be able to do that? Don't make me laugh, Naruto. Oh wait, I already am. She continues her, hysterical laughter, and Naruto is just getting a bit ticked off by Sakura, and he thinks he needs to show her a lesson. And Kakashi could feel the tension rising and the world slowly emerge from Naruto's body. And Kakashi could sense something strange, something powerful coming from Naruto, but couldn't see anything. Kakashi quickly said, well, that was informative, you three. You guys need to meet me tomorrow. Also, don't eat. And he disappeared into a cloud of smoke. The world went back into Naruto and he just got up and went home, while Sakura kept trying to make her advances onto Sakura. Why do I keep saying Sakura? Onto Sasuke, which kept failing. So we skip to the next day and we see Team 7 all under a tree, getting some shade while waiting on Kakashi to arrive. And of course, we all know on his way to meet Team 7, he would stop at the burial ground to mourn his teammates' loss. So Kakashi doesn't spend long and he makes it to Team 7 and he sees them there, so he goes, he greets the team, says good morning, and he starts to explain the bell test. And he says, this is what's really gonna prove if you stay on my team or not. And Sakura was the first to protest. It's like, no, we worked hard to get here, you're not gonna send us back. And Kakashi said, oh really? And Sakura, she felt like this was a challenge, so she backed down from it. And Kakashi started explaining. There are 2 bells on his waistband, and the first 2 to grab the bells, move on, while the loser gets sent back to the academy and also gets tied to a stump while watching the others eat. So hearing this, Naruto was a bit confused because he has never seen a team of 3 ninjas. It's always been a Jonin sensei with 3 students like Genin and Chunin, you know the deal. So everyone got the rundown of the bell test and were ready to start. So Kakashi said start, and Sasuke and Sakura jumped into the woods to hide before fighting, but Naruto, he wasn't like them, and Kakashi seeing this, he's like, oh, so you're the cocky type. So the two had a quick stare down, and Naruto ran at Kakashi, you know, trying not to use the world, at least at the start of the fight. So he runs to Kakashi, but Kakashi was completely demolishing Naruto. Naruto is a bit, you know, more well versed in taijutsu since, you know, he's worked with the world. So Naruto does know, you know, what he's doing, but Kakashi, he's way too fast for him. So Naruto, he jumps back to get some distance. And Naruto took a second to get a breather and he says, he's fast, only if I had more time. And then Kakashi, who was running towards Naruto, stopped running and the birds in the sky stopped flying. Naruto looked around and says, I make my own time. All around Naruto, nothing was moving and he had an increased time to do whatever he wanted, 3 seconds. Naruto couldn't feel the wind, people walking by stopped, and when he called out for his teammates, they just stood frozen like statues. So Naruto took advantage of his power and rushed Kakashi and activated his stand and started barraging him with punches and repeated one word over and over. Zero. Each time he punches, it leaves a massive crater in Kakashi's body, and when time resumed, Kakashi flew across the training ground and slammed into a tree on the verge of death. The villagers who stopped to watch the fight were dumbfounded. How is that demon so strong? He must have used the Nine Tails power. And a group of them ran to Hiruzen's office with the news. Meanwhile, at the training ground, Sasuke and Sakura came out of their hiding shocked at what Naruto did. They just saw Kakashi go flying and Naruto didn't even move. Sasuke was legit scared at this point of Naruto. What kind of power is he using? It's like he just defeats whoever stands in front of him. Like, Kakashi just got sent flying across the map, so I don't know who wouldn't be scared. For Kakashi though, he was messed up badly and had to go to the hospital. So Naruto took the time out and hoisted Kakashi over his shoulders and walked to the hospital. And with every step Naruto made, Kakashi winced in pain. That's how sensitive his body was at this point. And when he arrived at the hospital, the medical ninjas were surprised at how Kakashi was even alive. So they took him in and began the healing process, but it would take a while. Now Naruto is beginning to realize the power he can gain from being able to stop time. But how will Naruto use this power? Will he use it for good or for evil? Find out next time, because that is where I'm going to be leaving this one off. Thank you guys for sticking around to the end of the video, and if you liked it, like, and if you like my content in general, subscribe. Also, you know, after this recording, bro, I'm gonna go assemble a chair that I ordered. Yo guys, look on screen right now. This is the chair that I've been sitting on for 9 to 10 months now since I've started this channel. Yeah, it's pretty rough, so I'm gonna enjoy that chair. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next What If.